Good morning. And if you celebrate the 4th of July, I hope you are having a great day off. I mean, even if you don't celebrate it, it's still, a day off. And I know, I like to watch the fireworks if I can see them from my house because I really don't like getting out in crowds and finding parking and all this kind of stuff. So I pretty much stay out of the way and stay at home. But if I can see them from my house, I love watching the fireworks. I would say out of all of the holidays, this one is probably my favorite, but not enough to get out in it. I know we had our annual 4th of July parade last night and fireworks and stuff downtown where I live at, and I was at home in bed by 8 o'clock last night. I've been preparing for the Anderson Black Expo here in Anderson, Indiana. It's an annual summer fest, and it's one of my bigger festivals, so I've literally been working all week long trying to get that together. Sorry, my dogs are being a little loud today. And so I haven't been able to do any extra videos this week. I mean, I'm just doing real good just to get done the basics. I haven't had a lot of energy. All my energy's been going into making stuff, because I make all my products. So when there's a festival, all that has to be made, and it takes a really long time. And I probably should have started last week. But, if I would have made all of this last week, I would have sold all of this last week. And although I know that's not a bad thing, I have a whole festival coming up that I have to have stuff for. So I said, well, it is what it is. So I'll be doing that the next 3 days. So my goal is to have the Aquarius, the Pisces, and the Virgo all done today somehow. And with this Mercury retrograde, it's been affecting technology. It's been really hard this week to upload videos. And I have 3 different internet connections available to me. None of them are working. I ended up using a lot of data uploading Taurus and Libra. So, and then I've had intermittent cell service, with this retrograde. But, Mercury is famous for that. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started on your reading. And we have the 5 of Coins. And basically what I'm getting, the energy that I'm getting with this card is that there has been a certain amount, I'm going to say since my last video that I made for Aquarius, that maybe you've had some issues with some things showing up that you don't like, and possibly affecting your finances, maybe things not working out the way you wanted them to. And so now you're asking yourself, what did I do wrong by the law of attraction? Did I do something wrong? I know I'm always thinking that. I'm like, man, did I mess this up? Did I do something wrong? Why did it come in or not come in differently than I wanted it to, or not come in at all, or something shitty showed up? But the message that's coming through from Spirit is, even if something shows up that you don't like and you consider it an absolute failure, you're like, oh man, this is just a failure. This is so bad. And a lot of times we just really want to judge things. The message that's coming through from Spirit is that whatever this thing is here to serve you, because I don't know what it is about the situation that's come up that looks like a roadblock, possibly looks like failure. But the message that's coming through from Spirit is, do stay focused on what you're trying to manifest, because believe it or not, this is not a block but a stepping stone to get to where you need to be at, and you are not doing anything wrong. One of the biggest blocks to manifesting is to feel like you're going to mess things up, or to feel like you're going to do something wrong, because that's fear-based. And so if you feel like you're going to mess up or do something wrong, then, you usually align to that type of energy. Because people and situations and stuff are a mirror to show you where your energy is at. So when this happens, don't judge it. Do definitely look in the mirror. I have spent a lot of time over the past week really doing a lot of channeling. I'm hoping these messages are going to come out in this reading. I really do understand how energy works now. So I'm going to try to incorporate some of that into this, because we have the Wind, the activation card. And basically, I have said this before, once you raise your vibrations to a point, people will fall off on their own accord because they don't grow and move with you. And there's no judgment here. And, you know, people who you no longer resonate with, you might find yourself not hanging out with the same people, not talking to the same people. And a lot of times we feel guilty about this because we feel disloyal. You know, and a false sense of loyalty will have you holding on to people way longer than you need to. Try not to be attached to anything or anybody, because you don't have to be attached to them. You can still care about people and not be attached to them, and be loyal to yourself first and foremost, because otherwise you form codependent ties with people. And so basically what I'm getting here is that energy of situations falling off on their own accord. But don't judge it, because once again, these are stepping stones. And it's leading you one step closer to where you need to be at. So you need to be in such a place of faith and trust that the universe has your back and that it is guiding you in the right direction. All right, we have the Seven of Swords. And the energy that I'm getting with this is that he's just very, very tired. Very tired. And it's a defensive card. Like possibly we start trying to... I listened to a very interesting video the other day and it influenced me profoundly. And basically the theme was, okay, you're just trucking along and you're manifesting all these amazing things in your life, right? And you're like, wow, you know, the law of attraction is amazing. I have all these things. And either one or two things happen. One, you know, possibly the reason you were trying to manifest these goods and this materialism was to show off to people who had hurt you or bullied you or rejected you. And we get in this energy of, look at me, I'm going to show you what I can make of myself. And then when that happens, because it's so ego-based and so lower energy, it's not fulfilling to the soul. So the soul is still not satisfied. And a lot of times people judge these situations because, you know, let's say somebody has an affair on their husband or their wife, or they do something at their job that, you know, is out of character, and then people judge it and they're like, man, this person is going through some type of midlife crisis or a nervous breakdown, when really the soul is restless because the soul wants constant growth and constant movement. Whereas if you see your goals as an end all, okay, once I get there, okay, I'm going to be happy. Okay, well, I'm there now. I'm not happy now. So once I get there, I'll be happy. Well, the reason why you're not happy is, one, you're considering the journey to have an end point. Life is a journey in itself, and you're never going to arrive. So enjoy the ride. And your soul doesn't want you to arrive at any end point, because how boring would that be? That is the reason why when people get into these dead-end marriages and these dead-end jobs, and yes, I'm going to say it, dead-end marriages, dead-end jobs, that there is no more opportunity for growth. You've hit a brick wall. The soul will find a way out. And that is why people have affairs. That's the reason why people do things on their job. And then we judge it and we're like, oh man, you know, this is bad. Well, it's not bad, because like I said, these are the stepping stones that get you to where you're going. To where you're going. And so that's the energy that I'm getting with this. We have the moon. And you could be dealing with a Cancer. Every time I get this card, I always say that. But the moon is all about these energies, these cycles that come in to help us clear things and to help us shift. I know it seems like every weekend I'm clearing and shifting and changing and evolving and growing. And it's kind of painful. I mean, there's growing pains involved because you got to see things in a different light. You've got to face aspects of yourself. Because the way I do things now is if something triggers me emotionally, I don't judge it. I look at it, okay, because everything and everyone is a mirror. I'm like, okay, what is this showing me? Oh, and where is this coming from? Okay, this is coming from something in my childhood, my young adulthood, something that happened that I just wasn't seeing in the right light. Because you know what? You can take any situation. You literally can change the past. You can take any situation and flip it around and look at it differently, change your perspective, and almost rewrite history. I had the opportunity earlier this week to, I've always had this story that I've told, about, a family member or two, a couple of family members, just the way I saw things. And I actually had the opportunity to hear it from their perspective. It was the same situation, two different perspectives, and both thought they were right. So the way that you clear things and the way that you change things and the way that you evolve is to look at it differently. And then once you do that, you're a new energy. So you know what? You let all that shit go. All that's done. And I'm not going to worry about the future because it's not here yet. All I have is today. So today I'm going to make the best of today, and I'm going to decide which direction I want to go in. And you know what? Either way is perfect because I'm still going to, be on this journey called life. I'm just going to have additional lessons. So there's no messing anything up because everything's divinely guided. We have the Four of Coins. And whenever I get this card, I always think about meditation. And a message that's coming through here is to make sure that you know what is important to you. A lot of times we think that material gains and material goods are the most important thing to us. I was a single mom for years, and then when I did meet my second husband, who became stepfather to my kids, and we had two kids together, we were like the Brady Bunch, sort of, but the dysfunctional version. I was used to doing everything because I was the caregiver, in my marriage, and it was real dysfunctional, like I said. And so basically, I've lost my train of thought altogether. I can't believe I did that. So I was used to doing everything on my own. And I was used to almost being in a victim mentality about it. I would complain about it. But yet, this was something that, I allowed into my existence. This is something that I took on. But yet, I would go about and complain about it like I was a martyr or, it was almost like that see me energy. Like, look at me. See how amazing I am? That was the energy that I'm getting from this card. And I always prided myself on being a really, really hard worker and playing that martyr role and making money. And so I was always gone. And, my kids were either alone or, watching themselves or with a babysitter or in daycare, or my ex-husband had them. And so once, they got older, my kids were like, you know what? We much rather would have had you around than to have you working all the time. But they didn't understand, when you get in that mode of survival, you don't think about anything but surviving. And so the energy that I'm basically getting with this card is to check your intentions. One, make sure you know why that you're working so hard to begin with. A lot of times workaholism is just as deadly as substance abuses because of the fact that you're not taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, anything. And you're almost always running from something that you don't want to face. That's the reason why you work so much. I know that's what I did. I never wanted to deal with emotions, so I became a robot, a machine. And so my kids never had the soft me. I didn't know who that was at the time. I was such a hard machine. So the message that's coming through with this is to make sure you know what really matters, because those years that you have with your kids, you can't get those back. And I'm sure your kids would much rather have you there with them than have you gone all the time. And like I said, I'm not judging that, if you're a single parent. And this can be a father or a mother if you're having to do it all on your own. But I'm just saying, sometimes simplify your life and, get by with a little less for right now while your kids are younger, while they really need you. That message is coming through for somebody. I don't know who. It says, in case of emergency, locate your nearest exile. A good caricature is no exaggeration, and truth takes place in the shadows. So basically, that was the energy that I was getting a little bit ago with that, like, shadow side, about facing your shadow side. You would be surprised how much stuff is in the shadow side. Every time I think I'm done and that there can't possibly be anything left on my shadow side, come Friday, when I go through my little purging, my little shifting cycle on weekends, lo and behold, there it is, something that was hiding. I think this last weekend I got upset because I didn't hear from my divine partner for a couple of days. And understand, we've been pretty much working together into 5D. We've been doing real good. Friday hit, I didn't hear from him all day. Saturday, I didn't hear from him. I was feeling some kind of way. And I told myself that I said, I hate him. I can't stand him. And I was like, whoa. And so, what that whole situation came to teach me, and that's the whole reason it went down the way it went down, was for me to see that and for me to realize that's not love at all. When we expect somebody to do something to make us happy, look, if you don't do this for me, then you know what? I'm not going to love you. I'm just going to, I hate you. That's not love at all. So, that was the reason why that happened. And that's the reason why I said every weekend something comes up for me to look at. And so the truth will always be hidden in your shadow side. And it takes an emotional trigger for it to come up to the surface. But once that comes up to the surface and you look at it, figure out where it came from. Why am I like this? Why am I like this? And then, a lot of times all it takes is being aware of something. That's all it takes. And then once you're aware of it, hey, you're not going to do it anymore, because every time it comes up, you're going to be like, hey, I'm doing that thing again. Knight of Coins. And in this card, there is a lot of energy of helping others. But the energy that I'm getting is almost like a codependent energy. Overgiving is a very manipulative energy, but it doesn't seem like it. And that's what I was talking about earlier, that whole being a martyr. Oh, I'm just long-suffering. I'm going to tell everybody how long-suffering I am, what a martyr I am. I do it all. And I'm so unappreciated. How many of your moms or aunts or grandmothers did that? Isn't that very manipulative, though? Because then everybody just kind of rushes in. Oh, I'm sorry. I do appreciate you. I'm gonna start doing more around here. Whereas, you got to get into the energy of being able to express your needs to begin with. Hey, I got all this going on. Do you think you can come in here and help me with this? Before it gets to that point of manipulation. But overgiving also, a lot of times, and I have said this so many times, we overgive because we want something from somebody else. And then when they don't meet our expectation, we're upset, we're disappointed, we feel taken for granted when we put ourselves in that situation to begin with. So that is the energy I'm getting with this Knight of Coins. So stop it. I know, I used to do the same thing. Instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good for all. So once again, this is kind of checking your intention. And there's a lot of forgiveness in this card too, because if you have been in that energy of, you know what, I don't know how many times I hear people say success is the best revenge. Okay, but that's coming at it the wrong way, because you're more focused on others and what they think about you than actually doing what is best for you and what really makes you happy. That's the reason why this type of energy is so dissatisfying. How could you possibly be satisfied? And what if you go through all that and then the person you want to see you didn't even notice anyway? It's the energy that I'm getting with this. So the message that's coming through from Spirit is, why not forgive those people and release that? That's a heavy energy, a heavy burden to carry around when you hold a grudge towards somebody else. I'm showing that this is a block right now in you manifesting what it is you're trying to manifest. And that is why this shitty situation showed up instead. And the reason why you're like, damn, what did I do wrong? You need to forgive a few people and start trying to manifest for you from a pure place. Do check your intentions. We have the 10 of coins, and basically what I'm getting with this is that something has ended. And because the death card clarifies that, we have the death card here. I'm going to bounce around a little bit. And then down here we have the lilies, which also signify death. So I do believe that these three cards go together. It's the same energy. And basically this is an ending to a cycle. So this is that whole feeling like we have to, oh, I remember what I was trying to say a minute ago about trying to hold on to things that are dead. And the reason why we do that is because, and I was watching this video the other day and I completely lost my train of thought. Okay, so you are trucking along. You are manifesting like crazy. I can't believe I just did that full circle. I don't want to lose my thought again. You're manifesting like crazy and everything's good. And then all of a sudden you hit a snag where either A, you're not satisfied because you did not come from a pure place, or B, a fear comes up. And that fear comes up where you start getting scared and maybe paranoid that somebody's going to take your job, or you're going to lose something materialistically. And guess what happens? You align to that, so you lose something. Well, now you're in the energy of, oh my God, I don't know what I've done, but I'm losing shit right and left. And you know what you do? You're losing more stuff. And so the video I watched, she was like, you know what? I don't know what it is. But when you get in that energy of losing shit, you have to lose all of it before you can turn it around. Because now, since you've started losing stuff, now that's all you're focused on is that emptiness, that stuff you don't have. And then you're more and more fear-based. You're more and more lower vibrational. I know when I was going through that this year, I was like, oh my goodness. I was depressed. I got to where at that point, I just don't care. Take it all. Well then, once you have lost everything, now you have no choice but to focus on what you want, because you have nothing left to worry about losing. So now you start focusing on what you want. And when you do that, you always end up with more than what you had to begin with by law of attraction standards. So basically the energy that I'm getting with this and those two death cards is that possibly you have lost some things. Or like I said, this shitty situation has shown up and you have not quite made it to where you're trying to be at. And now it looks like, damn, everything's a disaster. But the message that's coming through from Spirit is, do not lose hope, because now you are in the perfect vibration to bring all this back and more, because you cannot lose what is yours by divine right, or it'll be replaced with something better. The Five of Cups, and this is the heartbreak card of the deck. So This definitely has to do with love. To clarify that card, we have sexual union. Honor the place in one another where you are one eternal soul, for there you will find true bliss. Okay, so somebody's on a twin flame journey. That's the energy that I'm getting with this. So do definitely check out my twin flame videos. Because the message that's coming through here, somebody is upset. Somebody appears to have left you. And so now you're reminiscing back over it. And this could actually even be someone from your past that's about to return. So maybe this has already happened, and so you were with somebody and it was amazing, and you guys went your separate ways, and you know, you've both been living lives, and maybe they're coming back to you, or maybe you've been thinking about them a lot lately. Because the sexual union card, this is someone that, you know, you would have, you know, had a sexual union with. And so this is where I was saying that, you know, we are not separated from anything or anybody. We're not even separate from our soul. So whoever this person is, I feel very strongly like it is a twin flame. So if you were wondering if you were on a twin flame journey, this is confirmation that you are. And do check out those videos so that you can learn all about how you are one soul and you are not separate from this person. Because there is a very strong sexual union, and all I can say is with this card and this card, definitely twin flames. And somebody is returning from your past. And this is, you know, in the physical, because I'm getting that the two of you have been connected this whole time by the soul. And you felt them, and this is someone that you've been thinking about and never got over, and you know, they're always on your mind, and this was a very, very tough loss for you, because you felt like you had lost this person, and the message that's coming through from Spirit is that you never did, and that they are coming back in. But you have always had this tie, always. You've been together this whole time. That message is coming through from Spirit. It's an eternal bond. We have the Crossroads card. This is what I was talking about earlier, about the soul not wanting to stagnate. So you're always moving. And, you know, even if you have to choose between, do I go left or do I go right? It's all being divinely guided, and there are no mistakes, because you're going to stay on this journey called life. You're just going to have more lessons, because we are divinities. We are our soul first and foremost that are here in human form, having these experiences that humans have, so that we can learn about human conditions. And so there are no mistakes on this journey. So if you do get your heart broken, if you do suffer financial loss, if you do have people leave you because you no longer resonate with them and they no longer resonate with you and it hurts, these are all human experiences that we wanted to experience, so it's perfect at any given time. Let me read this postcard. Dearest you, it's wonderful to give, but there may be times you find yourself overgiving. I promise I have not read this card yet. Oh my goodness. Now might be a good time to check in and see where you might be cutting off the flow of abundance. Let others give to you, even if you're more comfortable being generous and being the giver, the healer, the rescuer. In the art of living, we sometimes overlook an important skill: receiving gracefully and with gratitude without diminishing yourself, or trying to deny vulnerability, or bringing on an agenda of equality to it. Receiving is hard for some people, maybe you. You do not need a this for that in your exchange with others. You're doing good in the world. Let the world give back and support you. Then you can give up the old stories that have you convinced you have to do everything alone with no help. Let your well be filled. We all love you so, so much. Man, I need to get my laptop so I can start doing readings with this. You guys can actually see me pull the cards and see the fact that I did not read this till after the reading because I know it's unbelievable. But my thing is, you know, a lot of times when I'm in here doing these readings, I'm not even dressed. You don't know how many times I'm sitting here in my underwear doing readings. I do the laptop. I got to get dressed. Then I might never get done because that takes so much more energy. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and try to get these other 2 videos done today until next time. And next week I'll have like more videos and stuff. And I'm probably not going to get many personal readings done until next week. But if you are interested, I'll put my contact information in the description of the link. Thank you.